Good afternoon, and welcome to Empowering Your Business with Boyer Managed Support. My name is Mike Vernig, and I am the Director of our Managed Services and Support here at Boyer and Associates. Today, we're going to cover a couple of areas within our support and managed services. So we're going to talk about a couple of different support options we have available, as well as our Foundation Plus and Advisors. And something new kind of to the Boyer and Associates, been about around for a year, but our FaaS program. So as we devised these programs, we really took into account to what were our customers requesting. So we think we've provided a variety of different options to our customers depending on your needs specifically. So as we jump into our first option is our traditional Boyer standard support. So as you sign your MSA agreement, this is available to you right out of the gate here. So what we do is we bill you at your customary hourly rate, and we bill in 15-minute increments. So as you open up a ticket, we start to work it. We bill in 15-minute increments from there. And then within that traditional support here, standard support, we do provide our break fix support and how-to type questions, as well as any small project under 40 hours. So what we're trying to do is prevent some red tape and going back and forth with signatures, and more of just, hey, we understand that you got something you want to customize. Is it something fairly easy? Yes, okay, let's go ahead and do it through support and go through more of a verbal type of agreement there. And then we do provide a 24-hour SLA. So an SLA is our service level agreement. Within that 24 hours, that means that we will engage you as the customer. Doesn't necessarily mean your issue is going to be resolved within 24 hours, but we will start working on it, engage you, and make sure that, hey, we are actually physically working on it, and try to resolve that as soon as possible. So we do try to resolve issues on our first attempt, but as everybody's aware, sometimes we do need to get a developer involved or even Microsoft to help assist us with certain cases. Our next option that we have here is what we call our Boyer Ultimate Support. A lot of our customers are loving this because of that dedicated resource. But this option does give you the ability to pre-purchase a bucket of hours at a discounted rate. So we're offering about $10 off your hourly rate. So you do have the ability then to pre-purchase the bucket of hours. Once we do receive payment or based on your start date, that program then begins. You can start to utilize that. As alluded to earlier, you do get that dedicated resource. With that dedicated resource, what we hope to happen is that we start to build that partnership with you, understand your environment better, understand what you're utilizing within these applications, and then in return, that will hopefully allow us to solve your issues a little bit quicker. And then we also get to know you and understand some of the what you guys are trying to use in the system there. So the customer does have the flexibility to use whatever hours they deem, to use those how they seem necessary. The only thing that's really not included is within our FaaS program. And that FaaS program is our fractional accounting as a service. It's a little bit different of a consultant type of a role. Therefore, can be fairly busy. So you can use those hours for, training. You could use it for break fix. You could use it how-to. You could use it for some custom development there as well. So once again, we do the small projects. And one thing to clarify with those small projects is that all the different type of roles that we normally would have with traditional time material are included. So, the scoping, the BA work, the project management, the quality assurance, all those different type of roles, we kind of bundle them all up into one. But that is all billable work for our consultants that are working with you on those smaller projects. And the last big benefit here is the 4-hour SLA. So this SLA will give you the ability, once again, to have somebody reach out to you within 4 hours to say, hey, yes, we've acknowledged your case and we want to try to solve this, but it doesn't necessarily mean we'll have it solved within 4 hours. So our next option is really around what we call Foundation Plus, which is our managed service. So a lot of folks ask, what is an MSP, or, what is managed services? So if you really think about it, it's something that offers a continuous, enhancements, regular maintenance type of support for IT and software. So what we're trying to do is really build a partnership with you to allow you guys to make sure that you are taking advantage of all the different features Microsoft makes available to us and you, as well as making sure that, you have that break fix support as well, combined into both. So as we kind of look at this program here, we really kind of break it down into kind of like 4 buckets. And if you really think about it, it's kind of a mini type of sprint. So when we first start out, we're going to work with you to prioritize and explore and define those enhancements, optimizations you're looking to take advantage of. And this could be for an existing, customer, as well as in that new, somebody who's new to Business Central or to the Power Platform area. So we'll work with you to define those priorities, and we'll build out that task list. And then based on that priority, you will come to the table and we'll collaborate with you. We're going to get those requirements. We're going to explore them, understand what you're trying to do with that particular piece of enhancements. And then we get off the phone and we start to build out that functionality. So once we're done building it and we're satisfied with it, we've done our testing internally, we then showcase that to you, let your team work with it, do your quality assurance with it as well. And if everybody's satisfied, then we go ahead and we move that to production and we start at that next priority list item. If we did find something that maybe just wasn't quite right, something's wrong, that's where we can take a step back, take a look and see if, hey, there's a way to re-architect it. Maybe we need to tweak a field. Maybe we need to make something a little bit longer on a report or something of that nature. No issues. We just take a step back, rework that information, come back, re-engage you and show you what we built. So it's kind of a constant iteration. If you think about it, it's a lot of like mini sprints on a weekly basis. So we do try to meet on a weekly basis and continue to enhance your application, be it if you're net new to an application that we support or an existing customer that maybe you identified some enhancements as part of your T&M project and you want that hand-holding break fix type support for your post-go live. So as we look at Foundation Plus, so what's included? Kind of your rollout of new and additional functionality, your continuing education and what's new. So we're all aware that Microsoft does wave releases twice a year. And as you get those new features and functionality within the system, you definitely want to take advantage of them. You get your break fix support once again and get that dedicated resource. The collaboration and backlog of items. So as you're starting to build out that priority list, right? You're working with your consultant, your dedicated resource, and they said, hey, maybe have you heard about X, Y, and Z? We can definitely add that to the list and discuss that at a later time. And then we do have some recurring meetings on a weekly basis usually. And then we have our Boyer approved ISVs that we work with that we support. So there are specific ISVs that we do support. There are some other ISVs out there that customers do use, but we do have a list that we try to keep there supported within our application that we have a relationship with. Where it's really not a good fit for Foundation Plus, really here's this data migration and integrations. So that's really, if you think about it, where we need to get a developer or technical resource involved. We can definitely do an import via the configuration packages, but that's something the customer really needs to provide us with some proper data. And then a couple other things, specific go live dates. So if you come to us and said, hey, I want to do Foundation Plus, but I need to be live in BC in 2 months, probably not the best fit for us, since it does take a little bit longer to get some of these applications up and running. And then the last one's more of the complex modules. So if you're starting to look at doing like manufacturing, warehousing, that type of thing, we just feel it's better to have somebody most likely on site or more of a dedicated type of resource so you guys can take advantage of the full suite of applications there. Some of the benefits, so there's continued enhancements, as I kind of talked about earlier. So we do have that, weekly meetings that we're meeting with you on a consistent basis. More of a proactive approach, right? So we're trying to make sure that we're staying ahead of the game, making sure that you guys are taking advantage of all the different features. And we really increase your efficiency there. So instead of coming in and turning on the whole application and say, hey, here you go, as we can kind of complete a module or complete a particular functionality for you, you can start taking advantage of it right away. So instead of kind of waiting to the whole kabam, this kind of does a little bit of an iterative approach, which allows you to take on some of those enhancements and utilize them right away instead of waiting for a full go live. So as I kind of alluded to earlier, you got your dedicated resource. They'll provide you your break fix support, your training, it even enhance and upskill your internal resources. So maybe you have the first line of defense internally and maybe they're new to BC. This would be a great way to partner with us to kind of provide some of that knowledge and some of the things that we look for as we start to open up a support case as well. If you are a BC customer, you'd actually get the ability to use the Boyer ERP Connect ISV add-on. So this does give you the financial sales dashboards and the invoice and statement delivery. We recently migrated Business Central internally, and both of these add-ons or ISVs that we're utilizing in our environment, and it saves us a ton of time. And then it's a predictable monthly and annual cost. So you got some resource savings there. You kind of can budget appropriately for the year to say, hey, this is what's going to cost for us for support and enhancements to Business Central. Or maybe you're just looking to do a net new implementation. So maybe you're coming from QuickBooks or something of that nature. You could utilize this program to help you implement the application and really have a predictable and annual cost of knowing the cost of ownership of that application and the support and customizations that come with it. So how do we work together? Well, we first start out with a welcome email, kind of, welcome you to the program. So what we found is that many of the folks that are making the decisions aren't the people that we actually end up working with. So what we do is kind of reset those expectations with that kickoff meeting and get your consultant introduced to you, and really gain access to your environment as well. So trying to do a couple of things there with that first initial kickoff meeting, making sure that everybody understands the scope of the program, what we can do on a weekly basis, what we can't. Get that initial access to your environment and get it spun up so we can get your production environment going, as well as a sandbox. And then we'll work on defining that initial list of priorities. So that's a key thing for us, is that backlog of creating that priority list and making sure that we're continuing to evolve it. You do get access to it as well, so you can reprioritize it yourself. But depending on what software you're using, we do have some predefined tasks, and depends on where you're at within your journey as well. So if you're net new, we're probably going to dictate some things a little bit more in the beginning to get set up, versus if you're an existing customer, you'd have more of that control there. And as I kind of stated a couple times now, so you do get that weekly meetings. And then with those weekly meetings, we should really be showcasing and those changes we've made or the features we've implemented. And then also verbally getting those requirements for the next task list item. So really utilizing that time appropriately and making sure that we're providing value during that weekly meeting. Now, if you did say bring something to us that's a little bit larger, it would be on the consultants really to set the expectations to say, hey, this is going to take me a little bit longer. I'm going to need, 15 hours to complete this implementation. Maybe we skip the next week's meeting so I can utilize that time to continue to make these changes within your software and not waste time in a meeting during that time. So really on that consultant to verbally communicate with you, as well as just making sure we're setting the proper expectations of when things can be done and completed within the Foundation Plus. So Foundation Plus pricing. So if you were going to use the BC Foundation Plus, we're at $3,500 monthly. Yearly would be $42. If you are looking for more on the CRM and Power Platform side, it is $3,000 a month, and then $3,600 for the year. If you did combine them, we do give you a little bit of a break there and combine that down to $6,000. And then if you're looking really for the financials or the supply and change management Foundation Plus type program, then you're looking at about a $7,000 monthly fee with an $8,400 yearly investment. So if you look at it from a BC standpoint, being able to try to do a full implementation of the BC implementation from a foundation standpoint, does it take us a little bit longer than probably our traditional time material? Most definitely, but there is some cost savings there of being able to do that for, under 50 grand for the year is a great value. So advisors, so this program is really designed for our DIY type of organizations. Maybe you have an internal staff, you got a great IT team that can really pick things up. So what this does allows you to have that custom guidance and design, design and architecture of the system, and provide best practices. So you come up with questions that you have of, hey, I need to do X, Y, and Z. We now then sit down, work with you, discuss that. Hey, this is how we would do that particular enhancement, or hey, maybe we're looking at building a Power Automate for approvals. Here's how you could do it with the Power Automate and Flow. So this can be purchased within 2 4-hour 8 monthly sessions. Each meeting is 2 hours long, and it's really just verbal communication, and you just explain, hey, here's how you can do X, Y, and Z. Maybe some training questions, maybe some expertise questions. Really, whatever you bring to the table, we can discuss within that 2-hour meeting. So some of the stuff that's not included in there, so no additional support after that meeting. So you got your 2-hour window, and that's really it. And there's no really implementation or of ISVs or trying to provide break fix support during this as well. So it's really just us providing some expertise to you and your team internally, so that you guys can do this customizations or changes to the software internally. So the pricing around this, as you can see, so for the Business Central and Power Platform, 2, 4, and 6 sessions, we're charging $800, 16 and 24. Once we get into the financial supply chain management, a little bit higher price there, just because the resources that we need are a little bit more expertise within that financial supply chain area. So our last one we have here is what we call FaaS, or as their acronym, and it's Fractional Accounting as a Service. So this is really dictated towards our Business Central offerings and that application. So what we can provide is a part-time or temporary accountant for Business Central. So let's say, hey, your accountant went on maternity leave and you got some, stuff that needs to be done. A great example here for you to be able to come in and have one of our consultants help you with your reconciliation of, bank and credit cards, helping you produce some statements as far as your profit and loss, balance sheet, statement of cash flow, preparing and posting journals, configuring ACH and EFT budget setup. So really different setup of actually using the application instead of us actually coming in and training you how to do it or configuring the application. This is more someone coming in and actually doing your financial books for you. So really helping you guys, with the month-end close, year-end close, that type of scenario. The pricing around this is a little bit fluid. So we do offer this as a managed service program as well as an hourly offering as well. So if it's something you guys want to try out and do it for a month or two, we can definitely work with you on that. But we also do offer this as a monthly subscription fee as well, which will give you access to one of our FaaS consultants that can help you do those type of implementations there. You can contact us, to request any services here. So obviously my name is Mike Vernig. I'm the Director of Managed Services Support. We also have Addie Rodman. She's our Director of Customer Success. And then we have Caden, who's our sales rep here as well. So any one of three of us can definitely answer any questions you may have. If we don't have the right answer, we can always find somebody within the organization that can help us out as well. So if there's no other questions, I do appreciate your time today and look forward to working with you guys in the future.